Hey everybody, welcome to your second stretch class online. Today we're going to be working on predominantly splits, front and middle today. Okay, let's get started for our warm up. So we're going to come up to standing to the end of your mat, and we're just going to start stepping one leg as far forward as you can for a lunge. Now remember, with our lunges, we're going to keep the feet about hip distance apart and we step straight forward from there. Okay, we're trying not to step on the tightrope. It's not going to help your balance at all. Okay, so from here, stepping forward, keeping the back leg straight from here, and then push the hips through. And now we're going to take the hands to the floor, straighten through the front leg, pulling it all the way back in from a down dog, and then walk the hands all the way back in, rolling all the way back up. Okay, let's do it again on the other side. So stepping forward, nice and long, straighten the back leg, push the hips through, sit the chest up, or reach the chest up as high as you can. Hands come down to the floor, reaching up, stepping it back for a down dog, and walk the hands back in, rolling up through the spine. Okay, we've got 2 more times on each leg. Let's do it. Keep extending through the back knee. Hands come down, and then extend the front leg as far as you can. You can push the heel down at the back if you like. Basically, where you should be feeling this range of different places. To normally be feeling through the calves, backs of the knees, hamstrings, the backs of your legs. Some of you might even feel it in your lower back. Stepping back for a down dog, pushing the chest through, and walking the hands all the way in, rolling all the way up. Other side. So we're being upright here to get the stretch through the back hip flexor. Hands come down, extend. Leg goes back. And walking it all the way in. Rolling up. One more time each side. Extend it. Feet come back. And walking all the way in. Rolling up. Last time. Extend, exhale. Leg goes back. And walk your hands all the way back in. Rolling up. Okay, now we're going to go rolling back down, walking out into a down dog. Rolling through the spine. Legs as straight as you can. Hands are about shoulder distance apart, feet are about hip distance apart from here. And we're just going to rise up onto the toes, lower down as far as you can, bend the knees, bring the chest up, and then lower back down. Rising back and rise on the toes, lower down, bend the knees, bring the chest up. One more time. And then coming back down. Okay, flatten the feet out and just shift your hips from one side to the other. Okay, so before we get into more hamstring, hip flexor, leg dominant work, I just want to have a little chat about splits. So when we're doing our front split, I think a lot of the time people think the only thing you should be focusing on is our legs and our hips, hamstrings especially, but there's so much more to it than just being able to fold in half and hold your legs. Okay, so I think a lot of people think that this sort of work and this is all going to do, but I think you'll find a lot of the stretches that people give you to improve your splits, they're all in flexion. And then when we finally come to being able to do a full split, say you've lengthened your hamstrings enough, you've lengthened the quads and the hip flexors at the back because they're extended and in reverse, so they're not out in front of you. You need one leg forward, one leg back. Then we haven't done any work from our lower back extension, upper back extension to be able to sit up and out of this position. A lot of the time you'll see people in a split when they're first starting out and they've finally got down and their chest is all the way down here We want to be able to come up nice and tall and move through this range quite comfortably. So we are going to do a little bit of back mobility work today, especially in extension, to prep you for that, okay? So if you think about it, when we're standing, if we were to do a split straight down from here, this leg goes forward up to that in line with the hip, this leg goes back, the chest is staying up and elevated. We want to try and create as much extension through this lower back as we can, because that's quite a big stretch through there, okay? So just to give you some context as to why we're working through the back when I said we're doing split work today, okay? Because it's not just legs. So we're going to come back down onto the mat, and we're going to have the knees stacked underneath your hips, hands are stacked underneath the shoulders, and we're just going to go pushing the tailbone up towards the ceiling, chest is through, and then reach to one side, reach to the other side, and then just come back into flexion to reset, and then sinking back through, and to one side, the other side, and flexion. Okay, let's do 2 more here. Extension pushing through, one side, the other side, and flexion. Last one. Okay, nice. Now from here we're going to push back. Arms can go a bit wider than shoulder width apart, so my hands are to the edge of my mat. And then we're going to push through, push the chest along the floor and rise up. Only go as high as you feel comfortable, and then from there we're going to push, we'll lower the chest back down, and we're going to push the bottom up towards the ceiling, keeping your chest running along the floor. And push back. And then back down. As much extension as you can. And lower. Pushing your bottom up. And pushing back through. Okay, if that's too much for you, what you can work on from here, you can just rise up as high as you feel comfortable. You could be on your elbows, and then you could just lower straight back down. Okay, let's do 30 more seconds wherever you are. If you're doing this one with me, making sure you're sitting up and out of the shoulders, not hanging out into the shoulder here. Nice and active. Ten more seconds. And one, nicely done. Okay, drag it all the way back in. So we've just done a little bit of warm-up work for the hips and the hamstrings at the start. We've just done a little bit for our back. Now we're going to do a little bit that's biased towards our middle split. So our middle split is this one here, where we're sitting on our bottom and then your legs go out towards the side. Okay, there's 2 variations of a middle split. You can either be seated with the legs out. Some people like to call this, I think, like a straddle. And then a pancake or a square middle split is where you would come forward and then come down towards the floor from there. Some people like to extend the arms where the pancake comes from, where you're flat. Okay, so we're not doing that just yet. We're going to come up onto the knees. And let's go one leg out to the side, and we're going to push the leg as far away as you can. And now if your right leg is extended, keep your right hand on the floor. We might actually go into the elbow, so if you can reach the elbow down, go for it. And then we're going to reach the left hand all the way up, and then lower. Okay, and then just keep going with the left hand up. So the bent leg, it should be the same arm that's reaching. And now as I reach up, I'm thinking about pushing my right hip down towards the floor. So I'm getting a nice stretch through my groin, all the way down my adductor. Okay, inner thigh. And let's keep going. 2 more here. And lower. Now, just quickly, in this position, we want to make sure that we're not sinking back. where we're sitting on the heel, I don't actually get much of a stretch out of it, any component of this exercise when I'm like this. So you want to bring the hips forward so they're stacked underneath, so stacked on top of the knee, and then you just push straight away from there and then reach. Okay, drawing it in, and let's go other side. So take your time, find your end range. Just be mindful we're not super warm here. Okay, I'm going to keep my left elbow down now, and now my right hand is reaching up. And down. 4 more. Exhale up, inhale down. And last one. And down, drawing in. Okay, have a little breather, grab a drink if you need. That's our warm-up done, and we're going to get into our front split work now. Moving into our front split work now, I want you to grab either like a resistance band, or you can grab a towel or a rope, anything that is going to be about roughly 1 meter long, okay? So we're going to be using this as a little bit of assistance. If you're currently doing this with a partner, we're doing pressure stretching, so you're more than welcome to actually do it together, and then you can just alternate, just pause the video and restart it again from this section, and then do it again for the other person. Okay, so we're going to lie down on our back, and now this is some of these are my favorite exercises for improving splits. So we're going to start with the back flat on the floor, extending one leg away, and now we're going to wrap the band, or not wrap it, just place it over the foot from here. Because I'm quite mobile here, I'm going to use quite a bit of resistance, so I'm going to make my band really short. But if you're sort of down towards the floor, I want you to go to where you can keep both legs straight. So if that means that you're down here, having a longer band is going to help you, or a towel. I actually find that something like a towel or a yoga strap or something like that without any give works really well, okay? So we're going to start at a stretch where you feel it's about, say, like a 6 out of 10 intensity, okay? So both legs are straight. We're going to keep our bottom on the floor. So as we start to pull the leg up towards us, we want to avoid seeing, I'll show you on the other side, we want to avoid seeing this, where the hips lift and we start moving out of our square alignment, okay? So starting in your 6 out of 10 effort, and then from here we're going to pull the band in, or you're going to hold the person's leg, and now we're pushing into the band, or the person's hand, whatever you're using, and we're going to hold here for 5 seconds, so you need to push as hard as you can. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to exhale, release, and pull the leg up towards you, okay? We've got this 3 times. That was the first one, and then we're going to do it again. So pushing, and when we do this one, every time you pull forward, we don't want it to then go back away from that position, okay? So holding here and pushing again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ease it off. Okay, we have one more on this side. Just go to whatever range you can, and now pushing again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now just grab your leg if you can from here. It doesn't matter where you grab it, or just get the person pushing it, and we're going to pull it down as far as you can. Go slow, especially if you're partnering. If you're doing it to yourself, you know how far you can go. And let's get to your absolute end range here. And hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Coming out of it. Okay. Have a little shake, have a little breather. And we're going to do that on the other side now. So it's normal to feel it all the way through the leg. I know some people feel it through the side of their shin and their knee. Okay, and let's start with the other side. Extending the leg, keeping our hips square, bottom leg is straight, okay? We're trying not to let that one lift up off the floor. And let's go first one, pushing for 5. Straight legs, 3, 2, 1, and easing it off, pulling it towards you. And let's go again. Second time, and push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax, pulling down. And last one, pushing here. 5, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, we're just going to grab the leg if you can. Doesn't matter if you're holding it here. Try not to hold it directly behind your knee. It just promotes you to bend it. Okay, so holding wherever you can, and let's pull down to your end range. And once you get there, hold for 5 seconds. 5, 2, and 1, drawing it in. Oh, that side feels a lot tighter for me today. I haven't been stretching enough. I usually take like 3 stretch sessions a week, and I've only been taking 1, so I'm definitely feeling the difference. I need to stretch more. Okay, have a little breather, and now we're going to go with our hands flat, and going back to the first side. We're going to keep both legs straight, and we're going to keep the right side on the floor. And now let's just go kicking with the left, and then control back down. You can lift the chest if it feels better for you, otherwise you can leave the head down. Let's go 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. On your next one, let's hold this leg. Doesn't matter where you hold it again. So you can hold here, here. You can have a little bend if you need to, but make sure you're still getting a stretch. And now we're going to lift the bottom leg up. Use this as momentum to pull you back down, coming up into a rock. And let's go rocking. Let's go 2 more. And last one. Okay, and lower. Rolling all the way down, arms come back up, and let's go other side. Up and lower. Let's go 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Catching your leg, bottom leg comes up, and use that to swing. And let's go rolling off the tailbone and back up. Legs as straight as you can. So if you feel like, remember from last week, if you feel like your back flopping and your back is kind of slapping the ground, like mine is a little bit, please don't stress. If it's hurting, roll your mat up or go on the carpet, or just do the legs only. You can have a breather, by the way. Otherwise, sometimes it's just because like I have a lot of extension through my back. To get into a lot of flexion is quite tricky for me, so I don't tend to roll as smoothly. Okay, we're going to do a tiny bit of active flexion work, strength through range like we always do. So just to give you some context on that, the difference between flexibility and mobility. Flexibility is where you can manually or passively kind of sink into, whereas mobility is the strength through range, so the range that you can actively hold and pull yourself into rather than kind of melt into. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Let me know if it doesn't, just write to me in the comments. But an example of that people usually are like light bulb moment, when they don't fully understand. Flexibility, say I can hold my leg and pull it all the way up towards my head. Okay, and then mobility is where I can lift my leg too, so I can lift and extend to here. Okay, so then my mobility is far greater than my flexibility is far greater than my mobility, but that's normal. For like my dance background, there was a lot of emphasis on mobility, whereas when we're coaching in stretch, I definitely like it to be a 50-50 of both, so then we can apply it to everyday life. Okay, so that's what we're focusing on now. So we've just been moving through that frontal plane there with the legs. Now let's go with some active flexion. We're just lifting the knee and extending the leg and then bringing it back down and doing it with a straight leg. If you want to hold something for balance, you can. Okay, so we're going to go bend the knee and then lift the knee as close to your chest as you can, extend the leg up and then lower, and now nice and slow, take 5 counts to lift it up. So from a straight leg, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lower. Okay, let's go other side. Bending the knee, lifting it up and extend, lower, and 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Okay, so you can repeat them as many times as you like, but that's a really good strengthening exercise for our active flex through the quads and the hip flexors. Okay, let's get into a little bit more stretching now. So walking out to a down dog, and we're just going to go lifting one leg up as high as you can. And now let's tap down, lift, down, lift, bend the knee, take it across, and come back to the ceiling. Down, lift, take it across, and back. Good, so you're just having your legs as straight as you can. If you're quite mobile here and you're not getting much out of this, you can try coming down onto your elbows if you like. Down, lift, and lift, across, and back. Okay, let's go other side. And across, and coming back, down and up, and across. 2 more. Last one here. Shoulders are down. Good. So this exercise with the bent leg and the twist is also warming up our lower back in that extended position there. Okay, last one we're going to do in this sort of 4-point kneel position is just extending one leg away, and now we're going to lift up and up, up and up. So notice I'm actually dipping a little bit through my back. I'm purposely doing that. I find it really comfortable because it is more orientated towards flexibility rather than strength today. That would be a big no-no in Pilates, but for stretch, I really like to push the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Please, if you haven't done much stretching or your lower back feels a little bit sore or you're just really tight, go back to the cat and cow. Okay, otherwise you can go here. You can also try it on your elbows. It might be a little less intense on the lower back. Let's go 6 more. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Other side. Lift and lift. 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice, drawing it in. Okay, let's get into some splits. So we're going to come up. Let's bring one leg out in front of us. Okay, I'm going to stay facing the side actually. So one leg stays bent, and now let's go reaching the arms up towards the ceiling, reaching forward and back. Now we're going to shift forward into a lunge, reach the arms back, and square yourself back up, extending the front leg, reaching forward and up, shifting forward, reaching back and coming back in and up. So notice I'm working through flexion and extension, so that's forward reaching with the spine, backwards reaching with the spine, and reaching forward, up, shifting forward, back, and now let's go other side. extending the leg, flexing your foot, reaching up and forward. Lift, shifting, reaching back, coming back up, forward, and up, shifting, reaching back, exhale, inhale, and shift, exhale again, and coming back. Okay, just come up to standing, give yourself a little bit of a shake. We're actually going to start going into our lunge to split work now. Now you can use some slides or your socks on a slippery surface if you want to. I like to do this without slides as I don't struggle to push out through the range. I like to be able to control it myself. Totally up to you though, it's personal preference. Okay, so we're going to go back with our right leg out in front of us now. Our left knee is starting down. Now we have two options for our split in terms of having an open hip and a square hip. So there isn't a right or a wrong, and some people find one easier than the other. Okay, so it's again very personal, like all things in stretch. So if we're keeping our hips square, that means they're in line with each other this way, here and here, and this way too. Okay, so we're trying not to hitch up one side. So if we bring our leg forward, I personally find square hips harder, so I'm going to show you that first. And I'm going to move through a square hip and an open hip just so you have a visual as well. Okay, so the first one, we're just going to go with our leg extended, try and take the hands to the floor. If you can't take the hands to the floor, hold on to something else. And now we're just going to reach forward from here. I'm just going to scoot my back leg away so I stay in the frame, but you can keep moving the front leg. And then we're going to lower down as far as you can. Okay, so this is a square split. So notice that my back leg is flat along the floor. I'm going to pull my right hip back just slightly. Okay, and that's my square alignment here. Open hip is like this, where I flatten this foot away. I externally rotate, my hips are a little bit more open. You can still square the shoulders, but just notice, see my hip was like here last time, and now it's pulled all the way back. Okay, so let's just go reaching out to whatever range you can get to, and we're going to go with the 20-second hold here. Getting ready in 3, 2, 20 seconds. Let's do it. Try and be as tall as you can. Keep thinking about your back leg being as straight as you can from here. 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Nice, drawing it in. And we're going to go to the other side. So I don't know how long we're going to be doing our online classes for. Obviously, no one does. But maybe I would love it if you guys would take a photo of your splits and send them to me. And then if you're going to consistently keep doing our stretch classes once a week, we are going to be focusing on splits a little bit for the next couple of weeks. And I want to see your progress. Okay, let's go other side. So working with whatever position you like, open or square. And a 20-second hold, let's do it. Back leg as straight as you can. If you really need to come forward with the chest, you can do that too. If it hurts your back, you can reach forward. 10 seconds now. 2, and 1. Nicely done. Okay, drawing it all the way in. Alrighty. That's our front split work done for today. We're going to get into our middle split work now. Please have a drink, have a little breather, go for a little walk around. Just take like a minute, just pause your computer there. Go for a little walk and give your hips a breather because we're doing a little bit more work on them now. Alrighty, coming into our middle splits to finish us off. We're going to start on the floor with our sit bones both in contact with the floor as well. Okay, so the bony parts of our bottom, we're just going to drop one knee in and then come back up. Other side and lift. Good, so we're just getting some internal rotation happening through the hips here because we're going to be spending a lot of time in external rotation through the hips. Let's go 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and we're just going to take our legs into a frog. Let's go hands together, pulling your feet in towards your hips, and we're just going to go pushing to one side and then coming in, other side, pushing down and coming in. Okay, so just keep alternating here. Now, if you don't get much out of this, or your feet are already, so your knees are already flat on the floor, your option, or if you just want to try something different, your option is to come up to standing, get with your feet nice and wide, and we're going to push the knees out. Now hands go on the knees, and we're going to push your right hand into your right knee, right shoulder comes down, and we're going to push and reach towards the left, sinking down. You really need to kind of relax into this one and let the hips sink through. If you're really active and you're just pushing, it's not really going to do much. So you shouldn't be able to hold this twist without having the hands on the legs. Otherwise, I'm really active through my hamstrings and my inner thighs here. So I relax into this and then I twist. So if I was to take my hands away, I would fall, okay? Hanging out here, and then other side, twisting through. Okay, now we're going to push both out. You can do that in the frog as well. That'll look like this. Okay, whichever one you get the most out of. And we're going to hold here for 10 seconds. 6, 3, 2, and 1. Drawing all the way in. Nice. And back into the internal rotation, just easing it off a bit. Okay, we're going to flip over into another version of our frog. This is my favorite. And we're going to come down onto our belly. So we're prioritizing getting our belly and our chest on the floor, and then we're going to pull the feet or the knees out to the side, and your feet can come together. And then we're just going to hang out here. So this is your first option. This is the option that's usually most popular. It's a little less intense than the second option, which I'm about to show you. Okay, so you can just relax here. I used to actually put like a little bit of some resistance on my feet. I actually used to get when I was dancing, I used to get my dad to push on my feet. When we're watching TV, I'd just get him to flatten it down. My mum refused to do it. I wonder why. And then we're going to push back. Second option, hips are in line with the knees, and then we sink through from there. Okay, you could also, with this one, have your feet out. We just want to make sure we're not too far forward or too far back if you are choosing the second option. We want the hips to be in line with the knees, so you get a stretch through the groin and inner thighs. I'm going to get about a minute hold here, okay? We're about 30 seconds in, so just use your breath, take your time to sink into this position. Good, we have 25 seconds left. You can flatten yourself back out if you're here especially. 15. Okay, and coming out of it wherever you are, drawing all the way in. And we're going to come back to our bottom. So let's go with our legs out in a middle split stretch that you get about a 6 out of 10 stretch. Similar to that when we're doing the pressure stretches with the band before, so it shouldn't be super intense. Okay, and now we're just going to go hands flat on the legs, and we're just going to keep the arms straight. We're going to shift to one side and then to the other. Okay, try and keep our sit bones flat on the floor here. go 4 more. I feel the stretch all the way up through the side of my belly here. I also feel it through my hamstrings and my inner thighs a little bit. And 4. Okay, and now we're going to walk it out towards the center. So just reach as far as you can. Have your back as straight as you can from here. And then walk it all the way in. Add a twist and a twist. Good. And back away. Walking. And back in. And twist. And twist. And again. 2 more times. Twist and twist. Last one. And twist. Nice. Okay, so we're going to keep one leg out to the side. Let's bend the other one in. Okay, now I want you to try and push this leg out to the side a little bit more so it's in line with your shoulder. Okay, this might be pretty intense for some of you. And now I want you to try and reach the left arm, so our right leg's out to the side, left leg is bent, and our left arm is reaching all the way up and over, and then reaching towards the right leg. And coming up, and now we're going to twist towards the leg, and reach forward. And coming back up. So we're trying not to move the hips here, okay? Try not to square yourself as you twist. And let's go reaching away and over. And up. Twist towards, reach forward. And up. Let's go other side. Sitting up nice and tall and reaching away, making sure that the leg is to the side. And up, twisting towards and forward. And back up and away. And forward. Okay, so we're going to come out into a 4-point kneel, and we're just going to take our right leg to the side, and now let's push it away as far as you can, all the way in, and bending it in, other side, left leg pushing away, and all the way in, back to our right side, one more time on each, and in. Last one. And in. Okay, now from here I want you to come up to standing. And we're going to take our legs out nice and wide, have the hands on the floor. Okay, now we're going to bend to one side. Your heel can lift off, or you can keep it flat, and then standing it all the way back up. Then other side. And let's keep shifting over and over. Let's go 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and now we're going to be going into a middle split. Now, I want you to just, I want you to pause the video in a second. I'll tell you when. And I want you to set your own timer for 5 minutes, and we're going to get a 5-minute straddle wall hold in before we do an actual middle split in the center, okay? So the key points for this is to try and get your bottom hard up against the wall. I'll show you how in a second. And then we're going to fan the legs around. You can, if someone's at home with you, get them to pull your legs down, so it's about a 8 out of 10 stretch for 5 minutes. It's really hard, okay? So just for the sake of, you're not watching me for 5 minutes laying still, you guys can just do that in your own time. I'll show you, and then we're going to come back and come out into a middle split, and I want you all to take a photo of your middle split for me. Definitely So I can, and send it to me. You can send it to me privately. It doesn't have to be on the page, and then we can check back in it. So how you can get into this one, if you start with your bottom up against the wall and your legs are extended, and then you're going to fan the legs around, and then you're going to come up here. Okay, so obviously I'm a little bit restricted in terms of staying within where the camera is, but then we're just going to reach out, and then you hold up against the wall here 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, draw it in, give yourself a little bit of a breather, and then we're going to test the middle split in an elevated one. Okay, so once you've done your 5 minutes, we're going to crawl it out, sink it down, and then take a snapshot. Even if you get a little a video, and then just take a snapshot from there. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today. I know there was a really big bias towards our splits. That was our intention. Let me know how you found it, and I'll see you on the next video.